Hey, welcome back to Rabbit Hole Roulette, the show where one of us knows a story, the other has absolutely no idea where this ride is headed, and neither of us knows exactly how weird things might get. If you saw some last episodes, you know things get kind of weird, right? I'm Tony O, the facilitator of Fancy, alongside my co-host, Matty P. Matty P, any current events you want to shout out for us here?
Yeah, I got one that I heard about yesterday. A 18-month-old was actually pronounced dead for 5 hours. Spent 5 hours in the hospital morgue, only to later be discovered alive in the hospital morgue. He is now back home with his family.
The coroner get the certificate out of a Cracker Jack box?
So the 18-month-old was face down in a pool for, I believe it was 15 minutes, was then rushed to the hospital after trying to perform CPR and other life-saving measures, of course. The lead doctor on site decided that it was time to call it, that the child wasn't showing any signs of coming back. Apparently a lot of the nurses and even one of the police officers that was on site that was at the original scene argued this with him and wanted to keep going. He proudly proclaimed that he was the one with the medical degree, and he knew better than they did. 5 hours later, the child was alive and in the morgue, in the cooler. So,
arrogance.
Having worked in the funeral industry, that would be terrifying as an adult to wake up in a morgue cooler at the hospital. Because I've seen what they look like, and they are sketchy. You know, they'll give you the heebie-jeebies. So to be 18 months old, I believe is what it was. I hope for the parent's sake and for that kid's sake that is not his first memory. At 18, I wouldn't imagine. 18 months, I wouldn't imagine it is, but still.
And the fact that this provider was, again, so arrogant and, blasted, I got the degree, right? I went to college. I mean, again, he could have graduated last in his class. He still got a degree, but it doesn't give you the right to just be a dick.
You know what happened? There was a Davidian on staff working in the morgue.
Oh, Avada Kedavra.
The kid brought him back. He said, "I'm going to show you."
Oh, it's a morbid intro. However, it turned kind of nice that
happy ending.
Kid's at least alive,
which is rare for this channel.
Okay. I'm gonna stick with happy endings for my little fun fact.
Nice.
If you've not, I don't know, lived your whole life in a bubble or the past couple of years, you know that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So did you know they got married over the weekend?
Yep, I had heard about that.
So here's where the fun fact gets fun. Do you know who officiated that wedding? Wasn't you.
Wasn't me.
Ready for this? Mr. Happy Gilmore himself, Adam Sandler.
Really?
Adam Sandler, basically, he made their wedding ceremony unforgettable. He sang them an original song, as well as serving as their officiant.
Nice. I mean, that makes sense, right? Because Sandler and Kelce are good friends. They had him in Happy Gilmore 2.
Yep, Happy Gilmore 2. So they say the guest list for the event over the weekend, and I sadly had to miss out. I had other things going on with my wife and my pups here. I had to make sure they were, not left out. Anyway, the guest list was Jennifer Lopez, like Tim McGraw, Faith Hill. I think they're still a couple. Tom Cruise, so Mr. Scientology himself. Gwen Stefani, Blake Shelton. Are they still a thing? Are they still together?
Yes, I believe so.
Reese Witherspoon and Sir Paul McCartney. Oh, as well as Stevie Nicks, among others.
Really?
That's my little fun fact for you.
That's
Adam Sandler is an officiant.
Wild guest list.
It goes back to, I want to know, I mean, is he a Jewish officiant? Is he, what is
True.
True. I don't know.
I always forget that Sandler's Jewish. But he did that, what was it, 8 Crazy Nights or whatever, that Christmas Hanukkah movie?
Did 8 Crazy Nights. That is correct.
It's one of my favorites. Throwback.
He also did Little Nicky, which kind of goes hand in hand with the 8 Crazy Nights, or maybe it doesn't. I
Yeah, a
don't
little
know.
bit.
Anyway, speaking of hand in hand, you ready to get into this and pull up whose story we're going to tell today and who's going to be sadly left in awe as the storyteller tells the story?
Yeah, let's see what we get. Let me.
What are we at?
Sure.
3 to 1.
Yeah, 3-1. This
Okay.
will be episode 5.
As as President Snow would say, the odds may forever be in my favor, or whatever that is. I don't.
Yeah, you're gonna
Hunger.
need some odds in your favor. See my wheel?
Yep, I definitely see that wheel.
All spinning.
That wheel looks good.
I do like this wheel. All right, ready?
That wheel looks good. Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hit it.
Mm,
Ooh, boom goes the dynamite.
it's you, my man.
All right, I'm going to share my wheel. Maybe. All right, can you see my wheel?
Yep.
All right, so we still got 5 days missing. I'm going to rehab and personals ad going. All right, let's spin to win. Ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Oh, this one's my personal favorite.
Oh no. Okay.
So our shocking real-life survival deal that turned horrifyingly literal. Personals ad going wrong.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay, let me stop unstop sharing here. All right, so let's talk about this. So we all know that obviously personal ads are a thing, and you can put in and do and write, want to sell this dresser, want to, whatever they are out there, right? There's a market for everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would agree?
Yep.
And there has been for years. I'm going to take it back to 2001. And again, this is a story that has fascinated me through the years. And you and I have talked briefly about this, actually, when we were coming up with this concept for Rabbit Hole Roulette. So let's kind of venture down this hole. The ad specifically said this, and it read, "Looking for well-built 18 to 30-year-old to be slaughtered and then consumed." That was it.
Oh.
That was the ad. It wasn't like, looking to sell these chairs or looking to buy these, concert tickets.
Was this posted by
Well-built.
Dahmer?
In 2001, I think he might have already been caught. I don't know the Dahmer case, but yeah, 18 to 30, looking to be slaughtered then consumed. Do you know the story?
I don't. I remember you talking about it at one point, but I don't know that I actually knew the story beforehand. No.
All right, so let's kind of get into this story. So, again, in 2001, a German man posted an online ad looking for someone to be slaughtered and eaten. He had hundreds of people respond. Hundreds responded. Yep. And again, looking to be slaughtered and consumed. And hundreds answered him. And I don't know why. I don't know if they were death wish. I don't know if they were suicide.
Did they think it was a sex thing?
Maybe. It seems kind of weird. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Angelina Jolie had like somebody's blood around her neck at one point in a vial. So, I mean, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, hundreds responded. One actually showed up. So literally somebody came a knocking.
Yeah.
So let's kind of go a little further into this.
Okay.
Armin Meiwes was a computer technician living in a small German town of Rottenburg. By his own account, he had developed fantasies from a young age about having a person become a permanent part of him through consumption. It's very specific, by the way.
Okay.
So I'm going to tangent this and say this is kind of fascinating. I mean, it is very fascinating, but it's kind of wild, but not super wild. I can at least tell you, or tell even the rabbits out there listening, many years ago in the military, I was working at a hospital, and we received a patient in who was also in the medical field,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to say the chief complaint that we got, essentially what was their story. He was found in his barracks room or in wherever, in a bathtub with, I think it was 14 or 16 gauge IV catheters in his ACs. So if you know anything about IVs,
Mm-hmm.
obviously the lower the number, the bigger the opening, which means the blood flow or the fluid in or out is
Mm-hmm.
going to be more,
Yeah,
right? So
similar to
this
like
guy had,
electrical wire, right? Zero gauge being
yeah,
the
yeah,
biggest.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he had stuck himself with his own IVs and hit both of the IVs in his ACs, right, in the bend of his elbow,
Mm-hmm.
and was laying in the bathtub, bleeding out. He did not want to die. He wanted to feel, and I will never forget this because I did his intake. His quote, I wanted to feel the physiological effects of bleeding to death. Not that he wanted to die.
He wanted to get as
He just
close
wanted
as
to
he
feel like,
could without dying.
what's it feel like?
Wow.
And so we brought him in for being suicidal. Anyway, so again, not super wild, but still pretty fascinating. So, um, again, so back to the story. Having a permanent part of him through consumption, he later saw like-minded individuals online.
Mm-hmm.
So he was trying to find individuals, and maybe he had for years. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But the account we're going to talk about is the ad where somebody showed up. So in 2001, Muse posted messages on internet forums frequented by people with extreme fantasies. A little extreme. One of those who responded was Bjorn Brandes, a 43-year-old engineer from Berlin. Don't get hung up on the name. I probably slaughtered that like
Some Wandon
well,
baby
I'm not
dong.
gonna I'm not yeah, I'm not gonna ruin the story with how Armin slaughters this guy, but let's yeah, Wong Dong baby dong. So anyway, this guy responded. He was 43 years old, so a little out of the age parameters of 18 to 30, but he responded. And what makes this so infamous is that Brandis, again, the engineer, the 43-year-old, he wasn't kidnapped, he wasn't coerced. Investigators concluded that he voluntarily traveled to Muse's home and was a willing participant. There was extensive communication beforehand discussing what would happen, so he knew exactly what was going to
Sure.
happen. Okay, so the meeting. Let's talk about kind of what happened here. So Brandis arrived at the farmhouse, I think in March of 2001.
Mhm.
The encounter was videotaped, reportedly lasting several hours. So during the investigation, authorities recovered like a lot of hours, many, many hours of footage. And most apparently has never been publicly released. After spending time together, they cooked dinner, and this is where the stories.
Thought he
I've read
was dinner.
various accounts. So during the conversations of this, however many hours into this, the evening, it was found that I think he cut a piece of like his either abdomen, his flesh on his side, his thigh. He cut something out, and they both ate that during dinner.
Wow.
So through the next, through dinner or whatever it was, Brandis eventually was killed. He died blood loss, through blood loss, or maybe shock or whatever it is, right? Maybe shock was from the blood loss. Anyway,
Yeah.
so Muse later dismembered the body and stored portions in a freezer. Again, there's very Dahmer-ish,
Mhm.
right? Kind of, but he stored it. So over the following months, Muse consumed these body parts, reportedly treated the remains like stored meat. He labeled packages, here's a brain, here's a liver, here's your bicep, here's your thigh, here's your anus, here's your penis, here's your whatever it was, right? And then he consumed them over this extended period of time. All like, Ziploc, freezer fresh,
Yeah.
farm fresh, meat or whatever, right?
Like getting out a Hungry Man meal on the microwave.
And that's what he did. So, and now let's talk about how he got caught. So the strangest part was that he didn't get caught immediately.
Mhm.
After the incident, he returned to online forums and continued posting messages looking for additional participants. Meat supply ran out. He didn't have a slaughterhouse. I don't know. He wanted, so again, it was cannibal, right? That's
Sure.
literally what this is. It's
Yeah.
cannibalistic.
Can't exactly buy
So
that
this
on the
was
shelf
again,
at Walmart. At least not
yeah,
that we're
probably
aware of.
not. Well, I used to work there. I don't know. Sam Walton, from he's been a long way from Five and Dime, and wherever the in Missouri
Yeah.
or wherever they're from.
Mm-hmm.
So again, this was March of 2001. So it went, 9, 10 months. In 2002, an Austrian university student saw one of the posts and became alarmed. So it took him, literally almost a year before somebody was like, "Hey, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, this guy's serious." So he alerted the German authorities, and they launched an investigation. So when the police came, they searched his home. They found, again, human remains in the freezer. They found detailed online communications. Obviously, he's never heard of, the incognito mode or whatever it was.
Clearly.
I'm sure they still find it, but videotapes documenting the encounter, and then evidence confirming Brandis's identity, the guy he ate in March. So the evidence left little doubt about what happened. And for me, although that's a fascinating story to talk about, to lead with, that's not the most fascinating part of this to me. So the legal case is the most fascinating to me.
Okay.
And I'm not a lawyer, at all. I mean, I watched a couple episodes of Perry Mason when I was a kid. Again, but I'm not a lawyer, right? I watched some SVU.
Oh, yeah, a lot of SVU.
I've got a cousin that's a lawyer and judge, or was. I don't know the law on this. However, the story goes, this is where the case kind of gets into the true crime rabbit hole-esque stuff.
Mhm.
So the prosecutors faced a question that sounds kind of like a law school thought experiment. Can someone legally consent to being killed?
I mean,
Let's see that
not
look.
in the United States, but this is Germany, correct?
Correct.
I mean, when has
And again,
Germany ever needed
2001
consent to
Oh, yeah, let's not go there. Let's not do that.
Oh,
But yeah, so you're looking at like the assisted suicide stuff. That's what you're talking about, right?
sure. And that's also in the news right now in, what is it,
Yep.
Switzerland or whatever, where they're doing assisted
Yes.
suicides?
Yep. So that was the question. So Meiwes argued that Brandis, the guy who died and was eaten, had voluntarily agreed to everything, the videos, communications, and they appeared to support that claim. So that was truth. So the case went on for 2-3 more years. In 2004, Meiwes was initially convicted of manslaughter rather than murder and received an 8-year sentence. So let me go back a minute. So this guy, for the fact he killed somebody, and he got an 8-year sentence for manslaughter.
So I guess, again, also not a lawyer. Disclaimer: YouTube, not a lawyer. But because he didn't, go out and track this guy down and kill him, this guy came to him and said, "Yes, I want to die. I want you to kill me." So I guess that there was no, even though the outcome is still the same, there was no ill intent or malicious intent, right? It was kind of, they both agreed. Both parties agreed. This is what we want to do. I want to eat you. I want to be eaten. Cool. So I guess that's why it would be manslaughter versus murder.
Okay.
I mean,
well,
I can't think of any other excuse other than that the agreed upon, terms would change the perspective.
Because he had a will and principle.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting at.
Yeah. He didn't take a life. He was given a life, so to speak, right?
And maybe. So this is where the verdict caused basically a lot of controversy because people felt the punishment did not fit this crime, right? Which is what we're talking about now. So later the case was appealed and prosecutors argued that consent should not excuse homicide, which is kind of what you were talking about. But here's where prosecutors came in and said, well, we don't agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I give consent for you to kill me doesn't excuse you committed homicide. And that's where you look at, nowadays, the assisted suicide stuff. And there's the legal, red tape and lines they've got to walk. So in 2006, this new trial resulted in a murder conviction and life sentence, which he continues to serve to this day.
I don't agree with that.
So here's where the weird facts kind of sound fake, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he had multiple volunteers. Before meeting Brandis, Meiwes reportedly communicated with, again, numerous people online, expressed interest. Several backed out before anything happened. The case was almost exclusively self-documented. So Meiwes had videos and recordings and logs of everything that he did. So emails, chat logs, videotapes, evidence. It was well documented. The prosecutors didn't need to do jack.
Mm-hmm.
But the question became, I'm going to kill somebody. You want to die. How do I get charged after I kill you? That is the question we're talking about now. That is the rabbit hole.
All right, let me go pro cannibal for a moment. Here's the thing, because I do know a little bit about how the law works when it comes to the body after the fact, right? From my time in the funeral home business, because you could say my first thought was originally, well, they could work around this, where if old boy kills himself, then he still has the body and he can do his thing, right? Problem with that is, if old boy kills himself and then he comes in to do his thing, then they're going to get him for abuse of a corpse, desecration of human remains. There's a slew of charges you can actually catch out of that. And if they didn't do it at his house, they can get him for illegally transporting a body. It's a whole thing. So there's no way around him having some sort of charges. Now, obviously, those charges are less than murder most of the time, depending on how many bodies you desecrated or whatever, right? But I don't agree that if you want to die and you sign an agreement saying, this is my free will, this is what I want to do, and maybe they could have gotten lawyers involved and what's it called, the people that'll put their seal on things when you God bless it, my mom's one of these that puts their seal on a paperwork saying that you were there, they witnessed it.
Oh,
notary. Thank you.
Public notary.
But if you go into that, now you're running the risk of everybody blowing the whistle on the whole thing, and it could be a lot. But I don't agree with the murder charge. I can understand the manslaughter charge to an extent because he did kill somebody, but like I said, there's no way for them to do what they wanted to do. If I'm in their corner for a minute here, just putting my Hannibal Lecter hat on, there's no way for them to do what they wanted to do legally in one way or another. There's always a charge sitting somewhere, even if they tried to use
And this is
old boy doing it himself first and then him coming in.
And this is where I see it a little differently, and more so in the sense that, and this is where I agree with prosecution, the part that you don't know, but the next part of this says, so the prosecution basically argued a much broader motive. So at the retrial, they contended that Meiwes wasn't merely fulfilling another person's wish, but he was satisfying his own desires, making the killing fundamentally self-serving, and therefore became murder.
No, you're just two birds, one stone. It's just a happy accident.
Maybe, and that's what I agree with, right? So I killed somebody not because I wanted. Yeah, obviously, if I don't want to kill somebody breaks in. I want to wound. Obviously, I'm going to try to kill somebody,
Sure.
but no, of course I'm going to try to. I shot to wound. I don't know how I shot him in between the eyes. That is weird. There's some some lines to walk there, right? Yeah. I need to get the Waco people to come back in here and be like, or whatever it was,
gotta find and
maybe bring them back so we can talk about, I broke in, I shouldn't have, right? But if I go out because I want to go kill somebody, then there is defining the murder. Or at least in this case, the prosecution was saying because he wanted to kill somebody. that was, again, self-serving. So there's where there, again, two sides to
I
this.
mean, yeah, but you can argue back that same point that the other guy wanted to die. He wanted to be consumed. So it was a mutual. I don't agree with them spending only half of it because it was a mutually agreed upon thing.
So what's the saying? This is where I need one of the Schwipps causation doesn't equal.
I
Yeah,
know what you're
whatever
talking
that
about. Yeah, one of their sayings.
correlation doesn't equal causation,
Something
or
like
whatever it
that.
was. I mean, you can have one. I mean, if it wasn't the guy that wanted to die, he could have went out and murdered anybody that was not even willing.
Yeah, but now
Murder's still murder, right?
now you're in Dahmer territory because that's exactly what he did. He went out and killed people that
Correct.
were not willing because he also wanted to consume them because he also wanted them to be with him forever, and that was how, in his twisted mind, that it worked out. So this guy's going through something similar, mentally speaking. Wanting to feel like somebody's a part of him forever that can never leave, which doesn't really make sense because eventually they're going to come out one way or another, even if you consume them, right? They're going to leave regardless.
Oh, you're talking about defecation.
Yes,
Got it.
yes,
I'm following
yes. Eventually, it's there. You got them for like a good solid 8-10 hours, and then they're gone.
What if the guy had IBS? And
Then you got him for like 5 minutes.
I mean, or what if he's got the what's the tick disease where you can't eat meat?
That new one, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I forgot what it was. So yeah, now I consume a dude, and all of a sudden, I can't eat meat because it makes me sick.
Hey, you know what this guy's favorite restaurant was?
Go
Five
ahead.
Guys.
Ouch. I mean, yeah. I mean, he only killed one guy apparently. So.
Hey, he was on his way.
But then he
got the Happy Meal.
Probably. So back to the story. So here's why people still kind of discuss this. It combines a lot of topics that rarely kind of come together, right? So you're talking about the internet in its early phase, right? Infancy care. So 2001, the internet. I mean, 2001, I was in Chicago. I mean, I had internet. Maybe I had email for a couple of years, maybe. It was new to me. So the internet, right?
I was in 5th grade.
So young. Show my age. So consent and criminal law, right? So this is back to your point, right? I want to die. I want to kill somebody. What's the law on this? You've got some psychology going on of like the extreme fantasies. This isn't like where I'm, pulling hairs out one by one, or I'm doing something weird. Weird's a general term, I guess. But the extreme fantasy of, again, I want to consume somebody and have them be a part of me. Yeah. Media ethics back in the day, right? And then ultimately the limits of personal autonomy. Can someone legally or morally consent to their own death?
I mean, that gets into the my body, my choice argument, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, is that any different than if somebody went to the doctor and said, there's that one mental condition where people feel like their arms or their legs aren't theirs, right? I've seen that before.
Phantom?
Yeah, where somebody's like, this left arm is not mine. I don't know how it got here. I want it removed. And some hospitals will remove it if they cannot help this person mentally to stop, because these people will go crazy and start trying to cut it off themselves.
Wait, you're telling me that a hospital's going to willingly cut off a good limb because somebody says, hey, man, I don't like this arm?
I believe they have in the past, yes.
I'm going to have to look into that.
Because people, if the obsession or mental illness, whatever you want to call it, runs deep enough, these people will try to cut it off themselves. And if they try to cut it off themselves, there's a higher likelihood they're going to bleed out or get an infection or end up, passing one way or another. So there has been time, I believe, yes, there has been times where hospitals have willingly done it to stop this person from losing their minds.
Fascinating.
And I may be confusing reality with one of the 10,000 doctor shows that's on currently or has been on, but I'm pretty sure I did hear about this at some point, but I'm not 100% sure where. But regardless,
okay,
if you could have convinced a hospital to say, "Hey, guy, I don't like this leg anymore. Cut it off. You give me a prosthetic." Could you have then taken said leg, because it's still your leg even after it's cut off? It's still the leg you were born with, and say, here's my leg. Hand it to this guy, and he's going to take it home and make some ham hocks out of it.
Ham
Ham hock.
hocks. Okay. I'm going to go to the doctor on Monday. I'm going to call in and tell them I don't like my penis. It's not big enough. I'm going to cut it. Not much to work with. I need you to help me. And I'm in mental distress. How far do you think I get?
I'm probably at least 2-3 inches.
And then I'm going to put it on the internet for somebody to eat.
Oh,
Literally, I can tell somebody to eat a bag of dick.
That's
that's my goal. Now, am I my mental case for this?
Yes.
I mean, I just talked about what you just described, right?
Yes.
You just described this.
Oh, I didn't say they weren't mental cases for this. 100% they are.
All right.
But I think
so. It kind of goes. Go ahead.
Sorry. Speaking of mental cases, I feel like the issue with this guy that wants to do the consuming, and potentially even the guy that wants to be consumed, is there is a deep abandonment issue there. Because that's what they've always said about
Dr.
Dahmer, right? Was that, his dad was always gone for work. His mom took off and took the other child with her, but left him home alone for however long it was before the dad came back, because then the dad, of course, had moved on and left the mom, and it was a whole thing. Nobody was around. And then on top of that, this was the 70s into the 80s, as he was growing up, that, he discovered that he was gay, and the movement hadn't really started yet at that point. It was still kind of frowned upon.
Was he gay, or did he look for victims?
Nah, he was.
Was he?
He was 100%.
Okay. Yeah. Curious. Was just Pride Month, so I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's that was his whole thing, right? Was that he didn't. So the era that Dahmer was in was kind of the explosion of around the same time of the gay scene, right? Where it was all free love, everybody hooking up with everybody, before the HIV and AIDS became the scare that kind of slowed that down at the time, right? So
sure.
he wanted somebody to be with him forever, right? Which is why he tried to create these living zombies, as he called them.
Yeah,
because
I do recall
he
that.
knew that going to, the bathhouses he went to, or the nightclubs he went to meet somebody, he'd never find somebody that was going to be like, hey, let's settle down, and,
they'll eventually leave.
Yeah, he knew they weren't staying. And he also, I think, knew that he was a weird guy to begin with, and that his personality wasn't going to win them over.
So forever a frog, never a prince.
Exactly.
Sad.
Yes. Okay. But anyways, all that to say, I think there's a deep-rooted mental disorder here with these guys, from a psychology standpoint, of abandonment issues, because they both wanted to have somebody be a part of them forever via consumption, and be a part of somebody forever via consumption. So I think if you delved into both their past, there would be abandonment issues there.
So, kind of leads to my next question, talking about the case. Mm-hmm. Is this fundamentally a murder case, a mental health case, or a combination of both? And how does it get treated in the legal system?
I'm going to say it's a mental health case more than anything else, because I think this whole thing could have been potentially avoided with the right care and resources for both of these individuals. But considering that that didn't happen, and they went through with their plan and their agreement, I don't think murder. I agree with the original verdict that if anything, it was manslaughter. Okay. Because if you accidentally kill somebody with your car, right, it's manslaughter. That other person that you killed did not consent, but you still don't get murder, right? This
Yeah, but if you
guy,
accidentally kill him, you're not trying to kill him, though.
yes, but I'm saying that person did not consent to that being
I agree.
murdered. This guy had a signed agreement that this is what we both want to do. Neither one of us are doing this out of ill will. This isn't I hate this guy, I'm going to kill him, or, oh, he stole my wife, I'm going to kill him, nothing like that. This was, hey, I want this done.
Welcome to Florida.
Yeah, I want this done to me. I want to do this to you. Cool, we're in agreement. Let's make it happen. I don't think that it should have been as a murder charge. I just don't.
What happened to mutual hand jobs in bathhouses? Now we're
Now you're back to Dahmer.
Eating and consuming. Oh, my bad. Sorry, I was.
That's the appetizer.
Sorry,
that's the appetizer for the main course.
This is what makes our podcast a little different. Everybody does podcasts and shows on Dahmer. We're talking about somebody who literally ate some dude's penis.
Yeah.
And that dude wanted his penis eaten.
Yeah.
There's the difference. That's what separates us from everybody else. All right, so come to my last question for you. There are a couple last questions here. Would this case have happened without the internet? Could this have been going on in the 80s and in the 90s and no one actually knew? Are there other cases of this that's undocumented?
I don't think you would have found a newspaper that would have let you run this personal's ad. So I think, yes, the internet had to be a thing for this to happen. 100%.
Because of the forum. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of your MSN messengers, your Yahoo messengers that were the early days of the internet, where that's where everybody started communicating, that you got mail. Everybody was all about that. People thought it was so cool at the time.
Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan.
Yes.
Little shout out.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Also
so
a cannibal.
Going into who? Who'd you say?
Tom Hanks is also a cannibal.
No. Hey, maybe he didn't eat.
Disclaimer: they have no proof of this.
All right, so the case specifically has inspired a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the song? This is what's going to get a little wild. Mine Teal.
What now?
A song called Mine Teal. MEIN TEIL. Mine Teal.
No.
Mean Teal. All right. So, what if I said, "Do you know Du Hast?"
Ah, I do. Rammstein.
So yeah. So
big fan.
Mine Teal was by Rammstein, or whatever the Engelbert Humperdinck song guy. The song. So the title translates roughly to "My Part" or "My Piece."
Mm-hmm.
The lyrics contain references to the case and the idea of being eaten. Obviously, I don't speak German. I can't confirm this, but that's what they say. So the song became a major international hit and introduced many people to the story long before they heard the details. Mine Teal by Rammstein.
Interesting.
So here's another one. Do you know the movie Grim Love? GRIMM. Grim Love.
I think so.
Okay, so starring Kerry Russell, the film follows a criminology student researching a cannibal who found a willing victim online. The story is fictionalized, but clearly based on this case. Muse, the cannibal, or the consumer, technically sued to stop its release in Germany, arguing it violated his rights. And the film was eventually banned in Germany before the ban was later overturned. So this guy's already in prison, and he tried to prevent a movie from being basically shown in his country. A convicted cannibal ended up basically arguing for his privacy rights in court, and initially won. And it later became a legal battle over artistic freedom outweighing the rights of some of the notorious criminal in prison specifically, and they overturned the ban.
Wow. That's something.
So there's the movie Grim Love, the song My Part or Mine Teal, and the crazy Rottenberg criminal case story for you.
That's fascinating.
That's what I got. Again, murder versus manslaughter.
Yeah. Again, I'm team manslaughter. I don't think this should have been murder.
And see, I'm team murder, and that's where I'll see it a little differently. And that is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Rabbits, let us know what you think. Put it in the comments. If you've heard the story, what side are you on? Is a little bit of both. Maybe you know the music, maybe you know the movie. I don't know. But Matty P, that's all I got for my story for today. A little short one, but more thought provoking in the sense that this is what happened. Again, the overview. The guy said, hey, "I want to kill somebody. I want them to be a part of me for life, or for 5 minutes, or
Yeah.
however long it is." And somebody showed up to his door, right?
Yeah.
And the court said, "Well, we're going to charge you with manslaughter. Now we're going to charge you with murder." And he's still technically serving a life sentence over in Germany somewhere for this case.
Nice. Yeah, no, I'm glad this one was a little bit shorter. Our last rabbit hole went real deep, so to speak. So
A little Waco, a
I'm
little
glad. I mean,
Davidians.
there was just so much to uncover with that story, though. But this one was definitely a little more cut and dry, a little more opinionated towards the end. Of how do you feel about the verdict? Which one do you believe was accurate? So um, yeah, I'd be curious to see other people's comments as to whether or not they believe it was murder versus manslaughter, or if it was just true love, two crazy lovebirds, that wanted to be together
True
forever.
love.
Um,
There's a story of a guy that went to Japan for true love, missed the draft.
yeah, very, very fascinating
Story.
individual as well. Yes.
Oh, shout out to episode 1 there.
What a big throwback there. Speaking of, congratulations, Mr. Tonio on 51 subscribers. Hit 50 over the
We got
weekend.
51 rabbits following
We
us?
do. We have 51.
51.
They are starting to multiply like bunnies. Sure are.
That's the whole
That's the
goal.
plan.
That's the plan for this, right?
Yep. Yep.
The main thing on this is getting those numbers up, ultimately, so that they can suggest topics for us, right?
Yes.
Because this shouldn't just all be part of us. You guys can suggest these topics, and we can rabbit hole whatever you got, basically. That would be the thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Eventually, I would like for us to not even have to come up with our own topics. I'd love to just do subscriber topics, spin a wheel, and see whose it lands on. That's the way I'd like to see this go eventually. I don't know about you, but I think that would be even more fun just to delve into things together.
And we're just talking out of our ass about random topics we know nothing about.
Well, not necessarily.
Immediately.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for the first part of it, then obviously we would search it up and get more facts out of it. But yeah, no.
No. The interaction with, again, the 51 fans, the comments, they don't go unnoticed. We appreciate that. We deeply appreciate that. And that's where, and to kind of let a little bit out of the bag here, talking about some of the future stuff you might see on the channel specifically, talking about some smaller, 30, 45 second, a minute clips, talking about, much smaller rabbit holes. You may see some of that stuff, right, coming onto the channel soon.
Yeah.
But that was episode 6. That's what I got as your pilot today. Any closing thoughts for us, Matty P?
Everybody just wants to be loved, man.
I mean,
everybody's looking for that eternal love.
Loved eating and shout out minutes later.
They were just trying to live, love, laugh together. People just couldn't let them be. One of them was laughing, the other was no. But they were on their way. They were figuring it out. They got there eventually.
What would the saying be for this instance? Meat, eat. I don't know. Meat, eat something. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good
meat,
one.
Eat, be happy. Meat, eat, murder. Meat, eat, jail.
Meat,
meat,
eat, heartburn.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what consuming flesh does for you, but maybe.
Probably high.
I'm on meds for that.
I guess. I think the human body is something like 30,000 calories, so you can't eat it very often. Get big.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
All right, Matty P, you want to take us out of here for the outro here?
Yeah, like I said, congratulations on the 50 subscribers. Happy 250th birthday, America. That was yesterday. So.
Ooh, we celebrate that.
Yeah. Hope everybody had a good 4th of July. Hope everybody still has their digits. I still got all 10. I'm still here. Still kicking. Tony still got all 10.
Yeah, I don't partake.
Yeah, I didn't either. But I think that'll do it for this episode. And as always, hit the, if you joined us this long anyway, hit the like, the subscribe, share with your friends, ring the bell so you get the uploads as soon as they are dropped. And again, we appreciate each and every one of you for 51 subscribers and 2,000 views and 40 hours of watch time. We appreciate all of you. And as I shared with Tony O over the weekend, we appreciate all of you all around the globe, not just the United States where we're based
That's
out
right.
of. Yeah. We got fans growing, rabbits growing all over the world, which I think is really, really cool. So comment down below if you've made it this far. Where are you from? Not your actual city and address or anything, but your country of origin. We'll go with that. Or state if you're in the United States. Country or state. Be curious to
Don't be
see.
Florida.
Yeah, probably 50 of them are in Florida. All right, but that'll do it for this week, Rabbits. We hope you enjoyed a little bit shorter one after the lengthy last episode. So, Matty P, Tony O signing off, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Goodbye, rabbits.
Deuces.